Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation.
Now more than ever before, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production because we want to build a better nation. We want to fix this place. And to do so, we must produce. To do so, we must become more disciplined. To do so, we must become more tolerant. I want to welcome you to this segment in the program where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for reasoning. I want to start off this morning by saying the Grenadian people are smart enough to know when a government is delivering, when a government is doing things to better the lives and living standards of our people. So trust the Grenadian people. While the opposition will go in the parliament and say all manner of things, they will concoct stories, they would lie. The Grenadian people have enough sense to say no. What you are saying about the government is incorrect. Because all you need to do is to look back at previous governments. When the NNP came in, let's start from 1999, they were on a high. They started doing stuff and they had all 15 seats. And I'm not talking about NNP of 1995 to 1999. I'm talking about from 1999 to 2003. So they started doing things. And then they lost their way. They had all 15 seats. So between 2003 to 2008, they started to go downhill. And yes, it was 13 years and a half before the Grenadian people decided enough is enough. From 1995 to 2008. So they had ample time to prove their worth, ample time to do things for the Grenadian people. And while they were there for 3 terms, 3 election cycles, the Grenadian people said, nah, we want you out and we will get you out. So they lost in 2008 and NDC came into power. And what happened during that period of time? And the Grenadian people again said, nah, we want you out. And they gave NNP all 15 seats. And NNP thought they were untouchable. And yes, the opposition, NDC, was not ready at the end of that term, 2018. They were not ready from all different angles, right? The team of people that they put together, the Grenadian people, The electorate didn't want them at that time. And in 2022, the Grenadian people decided we have had enough of NNP and we want them out. And the NDC, led by the most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, came into government. And in the last 3 years and a couple months, they have been doing a remarkable job, a fantastic job. And people are recognizing that. So even if the opposition go into the parliament or on their platforms and say all kinds of stuff, the Grenadian people are not buying it. The Grenadian people are not gravitating towards it. It's not resonating with the people. It's not connecting with the people. And this morning, on a particular talk show program, a caller made a very valuable point. And that's just the ordinary caller, a cook from a school who said she listened to the debate in the parliament and she disagreed with Kate Lewis when she spoke about the school feeding program. So the NDC didn't have to call that particular citizen or Grenadian and say to her, I want you to call the Plead Your Cause program and speak about the school feeding program. No. She saw it fit to call that program this morning and say she disagreed with what Kate Lewis.
I'm here this morning after listening to the budget yesterday, and I listened to what the Minister Kate Lewis said, some of the things. I think I had to call this morning regarding schools and school feeding. Well, I'm a cook at a school in St. Andrew, and I could say for a fact that some of the things that this lady was saying yesterday was a blunt lie. The Ministry of Education is doing a wonderful job when it comes to school feeding. Presently, in my school, we have enough groceries, enough things for the children to have, even beginning of January. And I must proudly say that I'm happy with the program. And the children are happy because they are getting hot meals, they are getting a balanced meal when the day comes. So when persons going on and say stuff like that in Parliament, they are misleading the country. Just Tuesday, we received stuff from the dealer to go on for the rest of the year, and school is closing up next week. So I think she should stop misleading the country and say the truth. I could allow her to come in my school and have a look today, so she could see the children is not just getting rice and chicken every day. We have fish, we do saltfish, we do beef, we do a variety of lunch for the children in the school. Even the Ministry of Agriculture just brought in some provision in the school for us this week. So I don't like that, so I have to call this morning to make a no stop misleading the country. The government is doing a fantastic job, and I think they must applaud the government when they are doing something good. And I believe the reason why the government take out all fees from school, including lunches, is because some of our Grenadian people, they are too ungrateful. Because if you give the people, the parents and then the money from seed, they will complain the children don't have money for bus for school. So the government take out all these fees, including a free lunch, and they would still say the government is not doing nothing. That is not nice. So I call this morning to clear the air that school feeding is running properly.
Right. So that's a ordinary Grenadian. She's a cook at a school, and she listened to what Kate had to say. what the NNP had to say in the parliament, and she decided to call on her own and said, no, what you're saying is false. But that is how the NNP operates. They will say things without any facts, and their supporters will grab it and start spreading it. But you see, Grenadians have sense. If you listen to the NNP yesterday in that parliament, you'd realize that they hate everything that's good coming from government to our people. Something like the school feeding program, where 13,000 young people, students, are being fed every day. Approximately 13,000 of them. Preschool, primary school, secondary school. So to come with this attack, because I see it as an attack on the young people who appreciate this program. Having a hot meal every day is a big thing for many people, because not everybody could afford to buy stuff and prepare a hot meal and send their children to school with it. We have to face that fact. Not every parent could do that. So the government, one, making sure that no child goes hungry or have to study and think about where they would get something to eat when the 11:30 comes or the 12 o'clock comes around, lunchtime. The government is saying, look, that should not be the child's issue. We will provide the food for the child, because we want the child to study. We want the child to be able to concentrate. So it's a good thing. So the NNP attacking that program, and you see, they like to condemn too much. They like to criticize too much. And as a result, people are getting fed up with them. This is a good program. It doesn't have to be perfect. The school, they're using items. They're using the goods or groceries or whatever. They're using it. So it's not like they're not using it, so you're going to just stay in a storeroom. Stock will go low from time to time, and then they will just replenish or, just bring more. That is what happens with those programs. But because during the NNP time, parents had to find the $3 or the dollar to give their child to pay for a meal. And then the government will subsidize by bringing some items. It is not too different, except that the parents don't have to pay this time around. And the government is providing everything for the schools to prepare the hot meal. So the NNP, they're condemning too much. They're criticizing too much. You were in power, and there was a school feeding program in place. It's just that the government decided, this government decided, well, the parents don't have to pay at all. That's just the difference. So appreciate it now. Appreciate it. So they're criticizing the free hot meal program. They're criticizing the free tuition program, where young people are getting the opportunity to go to college, to go to NULO and learn something. It's the lone tertiary institution, meaning the lone college, right? TAMCC. It's only one we have. One college we have in Grenada, and that's TAMCC, tertiary level education. So a parent or parents, they had to find $810 just for tuition, just to get the child in the school to pay that amount of money. And the government decided to ease the burden, to help the parents, and also make sure that our young ones get access to TAMCC, an associate degree. They will pay, the government will pay the $810. But they did not stop at TAMCC. They decided to include NULO because they want the young people to also access NULO. And for those who are more technical in terms of the pursuit, they can do things with their hands and, become an electrician, become a plumber, become a carpenter, become a mason, become a seamstress, become a tailor, become a cook. So they get access to that technical and vocational aspect of learning. So the government decided to include NULO. And that's a good move. That's a fantastic move. So NNP is angry with that. NNP is condemning that. Come on, it is a good thing. So the free hot meal program is a good thing. The free tuition, it's a good thing. The ebook program, the laptop for kids, for the young people, that's a good thing. That's not something that you condemn and criticize. No, it's a good thing.
Mr. Speaker.
If it's not good, then something different. It's a good thing. So you saw 3,875 distributed, given to the schools, given to the students in Forms 1 and Forms 2. Then next year, it moves to Forms 3 and 4. Right? This is Forms 3, Forms 3, and the other year, Forms 4. And then it moves to Form 5 ultimately. But this is a good thing. So the NNP is criticizing this, condemning it. When pension was paid, the NNP angry. They vex. They condemn it. They criticize it. Because in their book, the government should not just go and pay the people their pension and their gratuity, because NNP was saying they will not spend the money back in the economy and the money will not circulate and all kinds of stupid reason. Why not? So condemn that. The Build Back Better houses, building those houses for people. And besides Build Back Better, you have other houses that are being constructed by the Ministry of Housing. The NNP condemned that. They criticize that too. They vex the bathrooms that are being built for people. The wash under the wash program. A modern bathroom and toilet facility. A concrete structure. They tile in it. They paint in it. They put in electricity in it. They put in toilet bowls or toilet bowl. They put in a sink. They put in a little cupboard. They're doing all of that and providing it to our people. The NNP vex about it because they're not the ones doing it. And then they would claim, well, we used to do it too. Well, if you used to do it too, and the NDC is doing it, you should be happy. You should be excited about that. So the school feeding program was there, you were there, and that was in place. Okay, the NDC decided to enhance it and ease up the burden on the parents. That's a good thing. That's wonderful. You seeing a person who used to use a pit latrine get a modern bathroom and toilet. That's a good thing. Any party who's against that, who will criticize that, something wrong with them. Something wrong with them. And we can go to other programs that the government roll out. And the NNP vex about it. The solar, there is this program that the NDC rolled out. I think it's solar, something to do with solar, where they're assisting people with, who are not able to pay the electricity and so on, trying to assist them with solar so that they could have electricity. I just can't remember the name. The name, I think, is solar something. All right. Let me get it. I think solar something. All right. Let me get it. Somewhere around the place I saw it. So they're assisting people with, solar, so they can at least have electricity. All right. There's a name that they have for it. But anyways, but it's a good thing. And the NNP is angry about that. The NNP is not pleased about it. Solar for All program. That's the name. Solar for All program. Right? Solar for All program. But the NNP is upset with that. Why would you be upset with that? Why? It's kind of absurd. It's scary that good things are happening for people and they are upset with it. They vex. The minimum wage, the government introduced that. The NNP vex. They started saying, well, we're going to let a lot of people go. Business, people are going to be fired. Right? It's amazing. Minimum wage. By law, every 3 years, the government's supposed to adjust the minimum wage based on the rate of inflation. Since the NNP was in power, the 20-something years they were in power, they refused to adjust the minimum wage to give people better salaries. They never wanted that for our people. The NDC came into power and they adjusted the minimum wage. So the security officer who used to get $4 an hour under the NNP, they're now getting $10.25 an hour because the NDC adjusted the minimum wage. You have laborers who are getting more, cleaners who are getting more, cooks who are getting more, bus conductors who are getting more, office attendants who are getting more. The same Imani trainees who they talk highly about, they're getting more. They move from $700, some of them, to $1,200. The geriatric caregivers are getting more. They move to $1,400. And we can look at other job area where the salary increased. The housekeepers, they're getting more. So the NNP vex about that too, because they were claiming, well, if you increase the amount of money, then they will make these people go. Right? It's scary. You have more security officers now than before, and they were getting $9.25 an hour. They used to get $4 an hour. They're getting more. And I don't know of any mass layoff or companies making people go because of the minimum wage. So that never happened. And then with the bi-monthly salary payments, where the government decided to pay twice per month, the NNP said that's not feasible. It can't happen. It's not going to work. So they have been critical of every good thing. Every good thing that the government rolled out, they have a problem with it. The government putting solar lights throughout the communities, the NNP have problems with that. The government fixing community centers, fixing playing fields, upgrading them, the NNP have issues with that. The government fixing the police stations, the medical stations, the NNP have issues with that. What kind of opposition is that? It is an irresponsible opposition. Everything you're condemning, everything you're criticizing, everything you're opposing, no matter what the government does, the NNP has a problem with it. But the NNP wants to come back in power. So if you're in power, you will not pay them people a pension. If you in power, you will discontinue the free hot meal program. If you're in power, you're going to stop the free tuition program. If you're in power, you're going to take back the laptops from the students. If you're in power, you will not fix community centers and fix playing fields and fix medical stations. And you will not do these things. You will not adjust the minimum wage. You will not fix, move people from pit latrines and give them flushable toilets and so. You will not do that. If you're in power, you will not give people material assistance to fix their homes. You will not fix roads and bridges and drains. You will not upgrade the water system like the government is doing today with funding from UK Aid or UK SIF. You will not do these things. And you see the complaining and the condemning, it is filtering down to their supporters. So for example, you have some people who will call programs and they upset with the condition of the roads. Okay, what is the alternative? We have pipes that are 100 years old. 100 years old, used to get water to you, and some people don't have access to water because not enough water is going down that direction. So the government decided with grant funding, with free money, well, the United Kingdom taxpayers, they have to pay, but we don't have to pay it back. So the government decided to embark upon this project. But you still have people who are condemning and criticizing, well, the road condition this, and the government should do this, and they should. That's the cost of development. Inconvenience. The NNP refused to do that project, And we almost lost that project because we lost the Western Main Road project that was a part of this same project. It was two projects to enhance the Western Main Road, to fix it, and the Southern Water expansion and whatever project, what they're doing now. NNP refuse to start the thing and to do the thing. So the NDC came into power and they decided to fight for the project, and they were able to get back this $80 million one. So what you want the government to do? Because you complaining about a road, and mind you, the contractors are trying their best to fool back the area that they cut and ram it and so on after they're gonna put the asphalt over it. But for now, they have to get the project done. Some people are complaining about that. And you say to them, but what you want the government to do? But this complaining is coming from the opposition too, the NNP. The NNP likes to complain so much that their supporters in particular are part of this complaining industry. And it become like a disease. They just love to complain. Everything they're complaining about. I am saying it to develop, it comes with that. Some people may not like it, but it comes with that all around the world. I remember in the United States, I went to Maryland. And on my way back, I took the bus. So, a number of states to get back to New York, to Brooklyn. And because I left in the evening or afternoon time, with the amount of hours, 6 or 7 hours, then because they were doing a lot of work on the highway and so on, they're doing a lot of road work during the night. So it took me longer to get to New York, get back to New York. But that's the inconvenience. That's part of development. So yes, you might have to spend 2 more hours or 3 more hours riding on the bus, but that's the reality. How will you get it fixed? So I am saying development comes at a cost. And part of that is inconvenience. Some people like to complain too much. And if there is problems with water, you hear them complaining. But NAWASA trying to improve the water system, they're complaining. Well, the roads, and the this, and the that. Quit complaining like this. It's only temporary. They're going to fix the entire road, They're fixing all St. Andrew and so on, where they did some work too. They're fixing that too. They're fixing from the tunnel all the way down to the airport. So they're going to be fixing it, resurfacing the roads and fixing the roads. I'm saying it's and James is saying on the live, same thing heading to JFK. You got to leave earlier to catch your flight, and he's correct. Every time you go to New York, you realize, every time you go to the airport, you realize you have to go to a different route, a lot of inconvenience comes with development. Some people in this place, they believe that magically the government could just fix everything in one day, or NAWASA could just fix it in one day. It comes with inconvenience. But they're getting that complaining from the NNP, because the NNP complain about everything in this place. Everything. And you ask them, what is the solution? What is the alternative? Okay, you don't like this. What you criticizing the modern bathroom and toilet that people are getting. What is your solution? What is your alternative? What would you do differently? Right? Because you're condemning it. You left 8,715 people messing in a pit latrine, right? And if rain falls, they have a problem. because things go splash up on them when they go to use that pit latrine. The NNP left these people with that. The NDC decided we have to take of that condition. We're going to give them a modern bathroom and toilet facility. I'm asking, you're criticizing the program. You have all kind of things to say about it. In fact, you reach to the point where you're making the claim that, well, you had a program like that and you started, but you're still criticizing what the NDC is doing. They're painting, they're tiling, they're putting electricity for the people. They're building up the everything. Toilet, but you still, what is the alternative? What you suggesting? What is the alternative? You vex about the school feeding program. What is your suggestion? What is the alternative? What is the solution? If you say it's a problem to feed 13,000 students a hot meal every day, what you are proposing, what you want happen, what is the, that is what I want. NP, you know, you vex the government situation, easing up the burden on the backs of parents and students. What is your alternative? What would you do differently? You talk about cost of living, right? The government kept our 20 or 30 items VAT free. So they did not reintroduce the VAT. They left it VAT free. They kept the 20-pound cylinder where it is, $40. And they absorbed the extra cost. So people just paying $40. They put some subsidy on electricity and other things like that, right? Trying to ease up the burden on the people. What you want, what you suggest, what is your recommendation? I listen to Emlyn Pay. I listen to Kate Lewis, Harris Modest. Well, Keith Mitchell, waste of time, right? I don't know. I never listened to him. But I'm saying is you're not hearing them put forward the alternative. So the government introduced the free barrels program. Again, you have a problem. What? Okay, I am asking NNP, present an alternative because you want to be in government. You want to be the alternative government. So if you don't like this, present an alternative as to what the government should do, what you think they should do. That is what you're supposed to do, but you're not putting forward no solution, no recommendation that is feasible and workable. So you're condemning everything and criticizing everything. All we have to things you have to say. I want to bring a list, right, and say, look, these are the things we disagree with, but here are the solutions. These are the things that we think the government could do to improve this and to improve that. But they're not coming with that. No solution whatsoever. All they could do is to criticize and condemn. After a while, people will get fed up with you. People must get fed up with you. Because, I mean, Grenadians could only take. You know. If all you can do is to condemn and criticize, after a while, people will say, oh God, I'm fed up with you, man, I'm tired. It's like you're in a house and every little thing is a problem. Every little thing is a problem. So the person would find fault with everything and after a while, you get fed up. Same thing with the NNP. Same thing with the NNP. People are getting fed up with them. People are getting upset with their nonsense. They condemn and criticize too much. A lot of good things are happening in the country. Look at Carriacou, for example. You know, all them little islands in the Grenadines, they have, well, not all. Some of those little islands in the Grenadines, they have airport lit. So they have night landing. Some of these little islands, you know, Carriacou bigger than them by far. NNP been in power for 20-something years. And they never had the vision. They never had the foresight to light the Carriacou runway, the airport in Carriacou, Lauriston Airport. So night landing could take place. Something as important as that. But the NNP want to come back in power. Come on. Something as simple as that. A fish market for the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Just think about it. They were without a fish market, a major fish market, until the NDC came into power. In Windward, they built a proper fish market. Take another example. The stadium. The cricket stadium. Keith Mitchell boasts, brag, he's this big cricketer and big advocate for cricket and so on. Who have to come and light the cricket stadium so you could get 2020 cricket? After all these years of NNP being in power and Keith Mitchell being in power, who have to go and light it? The NDC, you know? The NDC, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team. You see, you don't need to be a genius to understand that the NNP never had vision. They were doing the same old stupidness, thinking that they're going to get different results. But the same thing you're doing over and over. It will not change the results. So we are seeing things happening for our people. I remember when NDC was doing the Moline road, right? That bypass, that bridge, that whatever they build there. The NNP criticized that thing, boy. But the NNP was in power, you know. And they failed to fix it. NDC fixed the thing, you know. The NNP still had problems. Is what they say. Who passing on that same road now? Themselves. Come on. Keith Mitchell passing on that road. NDC came into power. They completed the Monkuma road. NNP had a problem with that. The NDC widening the Grand Etang road. And yes, they're doing the pipes and so on there to take water from Grand Etang. And I think, is it Grand Etang? Not Grand Seven Sisters Falls, I think, somewhere up there. To bring it back into parts of St. Andrew and them kind of places. Right? So, the NDC, they're also widening the road in Grand Etang. That should have been done 20 years ago. The NNP just leave it in the same way. So just how they made the donkey cart roads, they leave it just so. Just like that. No vision. So the NDC decided to widen it. The NNP have a problem. You were there for 20-something years. So the widening process, it takes some time. It will take time. But they start the process to widen it. So when they do the excavating or the cutting of the rock on, then they would go and do drains. Then they would go and do the asphalt, you know. But it's time, but at least they started the thing. NDC came into power and look at the amount of schools that they're building. NNP a problem with that too, you know. NNP a problem with that. NDC fixing the Grenville police station. The NNP a problem with that too. The Grenville police station has been in a deplorable condition for all of the years. NDC decided they're going to build something proper. NNP a problem with that, you know. Boy, it's amazing. So the NDC could do nothing good for these people. Nothing good for these people. And all they do is condemn. All they do is to criticize. All they do is to talk the country bad. That's all they're good to do. I am saying, if you don't like something, put forward an alternative. What is the solution? You don't like this? Tell me what going to work. I want to know. Don't just come and condemn, criticize. Those playing fields throughout the country. Look at the amount of young people who are playing cricket now in the nighttime, football in the nighttime, basketball in the nighttime, netball in the nighttime. I listen to them. They will tell you that there is tournament in Riversali, tournament in Malmont, tournament in Montrouge, tournament in the Limes, tournament in Tempe, tournament in Guave, tournament up in St. Patrick, tournament all about the place. They have tournament, they have cricket, they have football, they have all kind of things. Thanks to the NDC, they light up all of these playing fields and them, and basketball courts and netball courts and so on. They upgraded it. NDC did that. You know the NNP have a problem with that too. The NNP have a problem with that too. So the NDC could do nothing good to please the NNP and their supporters. They're not complaining about the debushing program anymore, because it's plenty debushing program. They get in fortnights. Those NNP supporters, they get in fortnights. So they don't complain. You know the NNP used to complain about the debushing program. But right now it's plenty debushing program. Every day you see them. They walk in. They cutting bush on the side of the road. And the NDC giving everybody. They ain't choosing. They're giving everybody a little walk. All right? And in fact, you cannot even find workers now, because those guys, they're on the construction site. So the woman has to work like a man in the debushing thing, you know, cut the bush like a man and be paid like a man, because you don't have enough men for the debushing program. They walk in. Construction on the rise. To get a mason, to get a carpenter, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's tough. Real tough. In fact, I tell a friend to get a helper, because, you know, we're working on the studio project. And I have to fall in line to do work and do stuff like that. You know, it's what it is. You can't get helpers. You can't get masons. You can't get carpenters. They walk in. They walk in. They all about walk in. It's no joke. Yeah. Yesterday, two friends passed by and they see I'm mixing concrete, I'm mixing this, I'm joking this. Because, you know, even the rain, but, you know, I want to make sure that the studio project is completed. You can't get a helper and you're paying them. You can't get a helper. So I had to fall in line and mix. And, you know, right now, my neck stiff. Trying to pull it so my neck stiff. You understand the point? But I'm saying all of this to say to you, it's not easy. You have to get workers now, because they walk left, right, and center. And that's good for the economy. It's good for Grenada. But give Jack his jacket, and give Jenny her jeans pants. Come on, walk. Things are happening. Things are happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Things are happening. The Honorable Tevin Andrews gave an update on Carriacou.
Businesses are reopening in Carriacou. And the businesses are not just reopening in Carriacou, Mr. Speaker, but some of those businesses are expanding. Bigger, better. Build the true definition and meaning of building back bigger and better, stronger, Mr. Speaker. Homes are being rebuilt. Roofs are being repaired, and communities coming back to life, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, look at the screen and you can see for yourself despite the many talks that nothing happening in Carriacou and that all of the people are suffering and nothing taking place. You can see, Mr. Speaker, with your own eyes. 67% of the homes destroyed, Mr. Speaker, are now rebuilt as a result of direct support from the government of Grenada. And 79% of roofs were repaired across the islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, Mr. Speaker, with support from the government of Grenada. Teams are working, Mr. Speaker, throughout the length and breadth of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and I'm happy that this administration doesn't just talk about Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We demonstrate through our actions that we care. And that is why an additional $20 million was allocated to assist us in accelerating the recovery efforts in Petit Martinique and Carriacou, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, things are happening, folks, and we have to remain focused. Things are happening for people. And then we will never, ever be able to please them. They're negative. They love to complain. They love to grind and groan and moan. But when you ask them for solutions, they have none. So let's remain focused. Let's support our government so that they would bring more benefits to our people, because we see things are happening. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful weekend.